Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joy Grace, and in today's video, I am going to do a review and mainly like a first impressions wear test of a new matte primer that I picked up. I have extremely oily skin, and I find that I have to touch up like once every 2 to 3 hours throughout the day. Otherwise, I get so uncomfortably oily. Like, I even hate for people to even look at my face. So I've been on the hunt for a good mattifying primer or matte sunscreen. The matte sunscreen I've been using has been the Australian Gold. It's their tinted mineral sunscreen, and that's a pretty good matte sunscreen. But I'm finding that it's a little bit heavy, and I'm just on the hunt to see if there's any other options that are similar to it. And so yesterday when I was in Sephora, I had my eye on one of these Paula's Choice sunscreens. And while the VIB sale was going on, I just picked it up to try and see if it might work. And so this is the Paula's Choice Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense SPF 30. And as you can see, it says that it's for normal, oily, and combination skin types. And yeah, it says it's a silky lotion. It mattifies with a sheer tint. And so today's the first day that I'm using it. And so I have already applied it. It went on a lot more smoothly and evenly than the Australian Gold. It's a thinner formula. But as you can see, my face does feel very matte right now. It's not sticky, it's not grippy, like it's just a flat matte base to start with. So in the search for mattifying primers, I've gotten a few from Sephora as samples to try. I've tried both Hourglass primers. They were okay. They didn't have the longest wear time for me. I've also tried the Rare Beauty primer. Again, it wasn't terrible, but wasn't good enough to purchase. I tried the Sephora Collection branded one. That was probably the worst that I've tried. And the best sample that I had tried so far is the YSL Nude Blotting Lotion. It is a steeper price point. It's $39 for 0.8 fluid ounces, so not even a full ounce. I have liked that one so much that I have purchased a full size of it so far, but I'm on the hunt to see if there's any other options. And so in my hunt for like more affordable drugstore, I came across L'Oreal has a mattifying primer, but again, the reviews are kind of all over the place, and it's almost $15 even at Target, so it's still not like super affordable. But I was curious about that one because L'Oreal does own YSL, so if you want to see like a comparison of those two, I might be up to do that. And then other companies that have mattifying primers are Revlon. They had a couple, but again, the reviews were, some were good, some were bad. And so I saw that Rimmel has this Stay Matte line. This is nothing new. They've had it for many years, I believe, but they have several products within the line. So they have this traditional makeup primer. They also have this priming and setting spray. And then they have a setting powder and maybe like a foundation within the line, but I just picked up the primer and the setting spray. And so I thought it would be fun. It's a weekend, so I don't have to go to work, but I thought it would be fun to apply the primer on half of my face and leave the other half with no primer so that we can compare how the primer, if it extends wear, if it keeps my oils at bay, and then set the entire face with the setting spray and then kind of judge, does the setting spray help the primer side, or does it even help the non-primer side? It's kind of a wear test of both products at the same time. So yeah, if you're curious and you have oily skin and you're curious about these products, just continue watching. Okay, so I've already done my eye makeup. As you can see, I've got concealer on, but other than that, that's it. And then the sunscreen that I just mentioned. So we're going to go ahead and take the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. And I have never used this. So I'm going to take just a little bit, like a pea-sized amount. As you can see, it's white. And it has a bit of a thicker texture there. Let me remember not to put it on both sides of my face. I get really, really oily on my cheeks, on my chin, and along my nose. This is something between a lotion-y feel and a silicone primer. I should say the other high-end primer that I have tried is the Smashbox. It's their oil control primer, and I really did not get the hype of that. To me, it did nothing. If you have any oily skin favorites, whether it's primers or, I don't know, like a moisturizer maybe, or sunscreen, something that you use on makeup days to keep your oils at bay, let me know what they are, because like I say, it's a big problem for me. Okay, so I've applied a decent amount of that. I would say it definitely has a pore blurring effect too. I don't really struggle with huge pores, like that's not a reason why I would purchase a primer. Like I say, most of my primer needs are just keeping me matte throughout the day. Okay, so we've applied the primer. The foundation I'm going to use, this is a pretty decent foundation in my opinion. I'm going to be using the Dalton Doll Skin foundation, and it's just one of my go-tos. It is a more matte foundation, like a natural matte. So we'll go ahead and apply that. With a brush. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video here and be back to when I finish blending. Okay, so I'm back. I just applied my foundation, bronzer, and blush, and brows, and now let me read you. I forgot to read you the claims for the Stay Matte. So it's a makeup primer, obviously. It's shine controlling, pore minimizing, hydrating feel, and smooth skin. And then on the back it says, skin perfecting primer can be worn alone, under makeup, or on top to create a perfect matte complexion. It controls shine for up to 8 hours. Ultra lightweight formula minimizes the appearance of pores. And it is made in England, has a shelf life of 18 months. So here's what we look like before I apply any setting spray. Again, this is the side that I applied the primer on, and this is the side with no primer. I feel like you can tell a slight difference in the pore minimizing aspect, but overall both sides are doing a great job of keeping me matte so far. Again, I just applied it, but that matte sunscreen is also helping mattify the no primer side. All right, so the last product we'll be testing today is, like I said, the Stay Matte Fix and Go 2-in-1 primer setting spray. Again, shine control, locks in makeup, quick dry, oil free. And this one is made in Spain with a shelf life of 24 months. It says, for the directions, after applying makeup, hold the bottle 8 inches from your face, close eyes and spray in circular motions to cover the full face to help set makeup into place. And you can use it throughout the day to help revitalize and refresh makeup for a freshly applied look and feel all day long. Avoid spraying into the eyes. So let's go ahead and open this up and give it a try. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna apply the spray over both sides of the face. Okay, so giving it a good shake. Okay. I felt like that got a pretty good, decent application there. It came out a little bit strong on the first spray. I probably should have done a test spray in the sink. So let me, I can see a few droplets here. But overall, that spray wasn't too bad. I've definitely experienced worse in terms of how aggressive it is. It does have a slight fragrance, like very minimal. It doesn't bother me. Okay. So that already feels dry. I'm not gonna set it with any kind of powder. I want to see how this setting spray does on its own. But yeah, I'll be back to show you to do a check-in. And real quick, before I go, if you're curious what I used on my lip, I do have a couple Rimmel lipsticks. They are definitely my favorite, one of my favorite formulas from any brand, but especially at the drugstore. I think they have the better one. So this is, I don't know if they still make it anymore. They used to do a Kate Moss collaboration on a bunch of products in their lineup, and she had a phenomenal range of lipsticks. Again, I don't know if they still make it, but this is one of her lipsticks in the shade 14. It's this really pretty nude color here. And it does have a more shiny satin finish. I like a more matte lip, so I just blotted lightly with some tissue paper. And so yeah. All right, this is what we're looking freshly applied. I will be back to check in and show you how the products are wearing. All right, I'm back with the final check-in for today. I've only had this on about 5 hours, and as you can see, this side was the no primer side. It only had the setting spray, and I feel like I'm honestly surprised at how well it held up. It's probably a testament to the partly due to the setting spray, but also the sunscreen. As you can see, I'm quite oily on my chin, not as bad as I normally am during a regular workday. But you can definitely see some oils coming through mostly on my chin and a slight bit of oiliness around my nose. And then on the primer side, I feel like it looks even better. I'm even more impressed. So I will continue testing this. Oh, and I did want to point out, so there is slight creasing around my smile lines. That's, not normal because when I smile, that's where the folds are. And then I do have slight creasing around my forehead. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with how all of the products paired together. So I used 3 brand new products. I know that's not ideal for a first review, first impressions type video. But I really wanted to start testing these out and see if they pair well together. And I gotta say, I'm impressed. So I will definitely, I feel more confident using this primer for a full work day. Like when I'm testing new products, I'm never sure if they're gonna do well and last, be long lasting. And so I like to test them on the weekends when I'm only wearing them for like a half a day mostly. And so yeah, we're at 5 hours and I feel like it looks pretty good. So I will continue testing and I'll just show you, I'll do like a couple end of day wrap up check-ins to close out this video. So keep an eye out for those. Hi guys, I'm back with day 2 and today I wanted to put the YSL new blotting lotion primer that I recently purchased up against the Rimmel Stay Matte primer. So this one retails for $39 for 0.8 fluid ounce, whereas the Rimmel is just under $6 for 1 fluid ounce. And so on my left side, I'm using YSL, and then on my right side, I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte. For today, I used the same sunscreen as I did yesterday, so the Paula's Choice sunscreen, and foundation is the same as yesterday as well. That's the Doll Skin foundation. I did not elect to use the Stay Matte fixing setting spray today on either side, and I also have not used any setting powder at all. So this is just straight wear test since I applied this this morning at 10 a.m. and it's now almost 4:30, so roughly a 6.5 hour wear test, so not even like a full day's wear test for me. Okay, so here's what we're looking like in regular window light, like normal lighting. As you can see, it's very oily. my forehead, my cheeks, my nose, it's all extremely shiny. Extremely, extremely shiny. But as you can see, we're looking really, really shiny. I feel like slightly, hopefully you can tell. If not, I'll insert some additional footage just by the window light. But this side is slightly more oily. But they're both, at this point, I would definitely want a powder. This side is like at that turning point to where it's looking glowy to looking too oily. This side I do have a little bit more wear around my smile lines, although there's creasing on both. The foundation seems to have worn away along these smile lines. And then my chin is where mainly I get most oily, I guess. But the foundation's pretty much worn off completely in the middle. And let's see, little bit of creasing along my forehead lines, but also getting very oily on both sides as well there. But overall, I feel like my pores are slightly less noticeable on the Rimmel side, but I do have a little bit of nose creasing where, if you see this line here on the Rimmel side, that I don't have on the YSL. So is it worth the price difference? Right now, I'm not seeing that. So tomorrow I do have a full work day, and what I intend to do is use the Stay Matte Rimmel along with the new sunscreen, the Paula's Choice sunscreen, and then set both sides with the Stay Matte setting spray and see how that wears. Now I will do a check-in periodically throughout the day, probably like one midday check-in, and I do have setting powder with me in my work bag now because like I say, I get so oily that I do have to touch up throughout the day. And so if I do have to touch up, I'll check in at that point and let you guys know. But I'm optimistic because yesterday, even at the end of the check-in, right before I washed it off, I felt like my foundation was looking really good with this combination of the primer plus setting spray. So we'll see how it does tomorrow. And yeah, I'll be back to let you know. But overall, I would say I'm not seeing any reason to purchase the YSL over the Rimmel. I think the sides look pretty comparable. So if you're looking to save money, try this $5 primer before you go and splurge off the $39 one. So, all right, that's my thoughts on those two. Before I go, I just remembered I wanted to test this setting spray as a refresher. So as the directions say, you can use it throughout the day to help revitalize and refresh makeup for a freshly applied look and feel all day long. So let's put that claim to test. I'm curious to see how this spray does. I'm going to spray it on both sides since both sides are pretty much very shiny, and then show you the fit. I feel like I didn't get my forehead enough, so I do that. That seemed to hit a little better. I don't know that it did much of anything in taking down the shine. I don't know. I would still need to use powder. So yeah, I don't know about that setting spray just for the revitalizing claim. Yeah. I think it maybe just be better for a priming spray and then a setting spray. I don't know about the revitalization aspect. So, okay, worth a test. Hey guys, I wanted to film a final check-in to close out this video and let you know what worked best for me. So I do feel like the Australian Gold sunscreen, the tinted mineral sunscreen that I've been using for years now, I do feel like that one is best at keeping me matte over the new Paula's Choice sunscreen that I purchased from Sephora. So that's what I have on today, and I also wore it yesterday. After I applied my sunscreen, I applied a bit of the Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. And then from there, applied my foundation as normal. Then when I was finished with all of my bronzer and blush, then I used the Rimmel Stay Matte setting spray and locked that in place with a light coat of powder. So after I set the setting spray with powder, continued on my day, and I really only ever had to touch up like 2 times, and both times I wasn't extremely oily. It was just kind of as a preventative measure. And so this is what I'm looking like right now. This is after 11 hours of wear. So overall, I am a bit shiny right now. I wouldn't say too oily, but this is the point where I would apply another touch up of powder. But mainly just around my nose. I don't really have any separation or breakup or my foundation breaking up, anything like that. I feel like my face and base looks pretty flawless. So overall, I'm really happy with the combination of the Australian Gold sunscreen, the Rimmel primer, as well as the Rimmel setting spray. I think those are 3 great combination products to use in conjunction with each other if you struggle with oily skin and you work really long days like I do. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.